Welcome back to Tanya for Life. We're in chapter 27. First, I'd like to dedicate this shir to the Refuah Shalema Behavioural Basahuva, Simanota Bas Rivka, Yaakov Yitzchak Ben Asna, Malka Blima Bas Ada, Yenta Shendel Bas Blima, Batya Chana Bas Altasara, for the Aliyah Neshama of Neri Yosef Asher Ben Gidon, Aziza Bat Tova, and Chaya Edel Bat Simcha, and for also the Aliyah of my husband's grandfather's yahrzeit is this week, Shlomo ben Menashe. So may they each have an Aliyah Neshama, and for being connected to us, as I learned in the Sikha of the Rebbe this week, for Chafei Shvat, that a person, when a Neshama has an Aliyah in Shamayim, person who's passed on, that they have an Aliyah on their yahrzeit every year, it's that their neshama leaps to a whole different level, very high, much closer to Hashem than they were before. And not only them, that they leap into a really lofty level, but also all the souls, all the neshamas that they're connected with down here in this physical world, also raise up in Aliyah with them. So just by being connected with all of our loved ones who passed on, as they celebrate going up a soul level, so do we. And how amazing is that? There's so much bracha and freedom and kedusha that comes from being raised up on a soul level, right? So Hashem should really help us to, and we just had Chafei Shvat, so Hashem should really help the Rebbetzin enjoying her Aliyah, as we all make Aliyah with her. And for all of our hostages, that Hashem should protect them, keep them safe and alive, and that they should return home happily with all of their family, be able to reintegrate into society again, and live long lives with them and their family. With also all of our chayalim, that they should also be protected and be successful in all that they do. And Hashem should really eradicate evil. May we have Mashiach. We're ready. Okay, so let's start with getting back into Tanya chapter 27. The central point of the above discussion was that through the occurrence of evil thoughts in one's mind and through one's battle against them, the Sitra Achra is subdued, causing great pleasure above. The Alter Rebbe now goes on to say that this subjugation of the Sitra Achra and the consequent divine pleasure are brought about not only by one's struggle against the Sitra Achra, when it attempts to lead one to sin, as in our case where the lack of a struggle against evil thoughts and the continued meditation on them would constitute a sin. Rather, one produces the same effect by struggling with one's nature and abstaining from permitted matters. For as explained in chapter 6, any permitted action done without the specific intention of leading one to serving of God, as for example, eating in order to obtain strength for Torah study or performing the mitzvahs, any action not done with this intention derives its vitality from the Sitra Achra. This term simply means the other side, the absence of holiness. Only an action so directed can draw its vitality from the realm of holiness. Therefore, whenever one refrains from doing even a permissible act with the intention in which this intention is lacking, in order to subdue the Sitra Achra, he gives rise to divine pleasure. Furthermore, not only by fighting his evil thoughts does one subdue the Sitra Achra, but even in matters that are fully permissible. Every act of sacrificing one's impulse, even if only for a short while, if he delays partaking of even the permissible and essential with the intention of subduing the Sitra Achra in the left part of his heart, achieves this end. For example, when he wants to eat but delays his meal for an hour or less, and during that time he studies Torah. For if he occupies himself with other physical matters, it does not subdue the sitra achra by postponing his meal, since he is in any case indulging his animal soul. However, if he studies Torah during that time, even when the delay of his meal does not gain him any time for Torah study, for he would have studied Torah regardless, as will soon be stated, and despite the fact that he eventually does eat, yet he subdues the sitra achra by the mere effort of postponing his meal, and thereby he brings about the divine pleasure caused by every subjugation of the sitra achra. As the Gemara states, the 4th hour of the day is when all men eat, but the 6th hour is the mealtime for scholars. Whoa. Well, let's see what the source is for that. Shabbos in the Gemara, Masechet Shabbos. Because they would go hungry for 2 hours with this intention. Scholars would go hungry for 2 hours with the intention. Although even after the meal, they would study all day. Similarly, if one restrains his mouth from saying things which he greatly desires to say concerning mundane matters, even where there is nothing wrong with the words per se, yet he refrains from speaking them precisely because he feels a desire to speak. So he refrains from speaking because he feels the desire to speak. And likewise, regarding the thoughts of his mind, he suppresses an urge to think about some mundane matter, even by the slightest subjugation of the sitra achra here below. The glory of Hashem and his holiness is greatly elevated on high. From this holiness, a sublime holiness issues forth upon man below to assist him with a great and powerful aid in his service of God. This is stunning. This is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. This is so powerful. So even when we do a small, we talk about the Bain Oni minutes, the Bain Oni vitamin B. For 1 minute, we act like a Bain Oni to refrain from doing something or to do something. So if we refrain from doing something, even for 1 minute, that we have the urge to speak, even not bad things, just we have the urge to speak and show up in a group and be heard and whatever it is, that we just refrain from speaking just because we have a desire to speak and we want to suppress the sitra achra, which will be suppressed if it's not holy, right? If we're sharing Torah words, if we're sharing brachas to people, that's different. That's sharing kedusha. That's using your speech for a kedushitic purpose, and you're attaching your speech to the godly realm. If you are just going to speak stam, there's no intention to connect with Hashem, then it's better to stay silent with the purpose of connecting with Hashem, with the purpose of stomping on the sitra achra, right? Because anywhere where you're not infusing connection with Hashem, you're not infusing an intention to be connected with Hashem in your food, in your practice, in your business, in your etc., whatever it is, in your life, in your speech, in your actions, whatever it is, then automatically you're connecting with sitra achra, because sitra achra is anywhere and any time that is not connected to godliness. So there are only 2 ways. There is no middle ground. You're either connected to godliness or you're connected to sitra achra. And sitra achra can be mundane things. It doesn't have to be so evil and so bad. The issue is when you keep doing mundane things again and again and again and again, it does coarsen up your animal soul. It does coarsen up your goof, your body, to be less sensitive for receiving the godly soul and the Torah and the CBTT and all of this stuff that we're doing to allow the mind to rule the heart. So eventually, by doing even these things that are not evil, things that are mundane, things like going to the bathroom because you have to go to the bathroom, or breathing because you have to breathe. You don't even think about it. Or speaking about something that has no evil will, but just speaking about something, just speaking or acting or thinking. about something, that has no, you don't have that ultimate tie to Hashem. You're not thinking, for your avodah. So all of this will eventually cover up make the animal soul more opaque, more dark, less sensitive, the goof less sensitive, and so the godly soul can't shine through, and a person will have trouble and struggle. I'm speaking from experience. Struggle with davening, struggle with Torah learning, struggle with even the basics that they know spiritually they need to keep on top of their health, right? So that is a great indication that our body has become too coarse and our animal soul has become too coarse and not sensitive to the godly soul. And this is how it builds up. So you can trace it all the way back to what we're learning now. And we should know that even by the slightest, even when we subdue the sitra achra, even by a small bit, by 1 second, 1 minute, one minute amount of time, and even if chas v'shalom, like we go back and do the thing that we were suppressing ourselves from doing, at least in that one moment we suppressed, right? The sitra achra. So once we have that suppression of sitra achra from down below, even if it's small, it's massive for Hashem, and it gives a lot of glory and a lot of kavod to Hashem because we're picking Him over us. Sublime and Hashem's holiness is greatly elevated and revealed on high. And remember, he can stomp on the soaring eagle of the source of the klippa up in the higher realms, and he sends his holiness he sends it down straight to you who did this act, straight to you. You receive these powers, awesome powers from God to help assist you in this in this service of Hashem, right? So he sends you a great aid to come down and immediately to come and help you in your life, especially with suppressing the sitra achra, because it's not something, it's so awesome and powerful. My goodness. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam shakol niv'dvoro. Amen. Toda Hashem. So, sorry, my son's just drinking something. Kol hakavod. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam Toda Hashem. So it's such a beautiful, beautiful scene. If you can have in your mind, no, but like if you can have in your mind that it's like a castle when a person is, in a kingdom, and then there's a king, and then there's these emissaries, like these knights from God, from the king, right? If you're a person in the king's kingdom, you're one of his subjects, and you're having difficulty, right? If you're having difficulty, then you send word to the king, right? If you don't send word, nothing's going to happen. You send word to the king that you're having trouble. Maybe you have bandits in your area. So you send to the king, and you send your message to the king to help, and then he comes down. He's so happy, you're ready to take action as well. You're like getting a group together and trying to fight them on your own, and you're doing well, but you need more reinforcements, and the king is so like worried for you and so happy and joyful to protect his people. So he brings a lot of reinforcements, specific reinforcements, like of his best knights, for example, and he brings them to come and help you in the outskirts of his kingdom, us the commoners, right? And it's amazing. This is like what it feels like, that Hashem gives us such divine assistance, such powerful assistance. What happens when the knight comes? Yeah, he fights them. Yeah, we win, whatever. But also what happens is now we become under the watch of the king even more so, because we have this contact, we've initiated this contact. Now we have an inside guy who's coming from the kingdom, and he'll help us in other things. Like it's just amazing how Hashem has created the world all for us. We do the Torah and mitzvahs, not for Hashem. We do the Torah. Hashem, like Hashem, obviously we do the Torah and mitzvahs for Hashem, but Hashem doesn't gain from what we do. It's not for Hashem that we have to work on ourselves and refine ourselves in Torah mitzvahs. It's to refine ourselves. And when we refine ourselves, we make a dir b'tachtenim for Hashem. And we can see how we make a dir b'tachtenim for Hashem. If these people on the outskirts of the kingdom didn't call to the Creator, didn't call to the king, then the king would not know to send his people here, right? To send the night here. And then it would just continue on, whatever they'd be affected, affecting the kingdom. But how amazing that Hashem creates this opportunity for us. Sorry, I'm just plugging in my computer. So so what would happen if we didn't tell the king what's happening? He wouldn't send his great knights, and we wouldn't have all of that extra help, and we wouldn't have such a close connection with the king, right? That comes with as you reach out and interact, and so especially if you're showing the king you're crowning the king. You are my king. I want to stay under your domain. You're being attacked by these people, like help. So it's such a bracha. I think it's so amazing that Hashem gives us that ability to connect with him and get extra help. And he loves it, and we love it, and we become more refined, and then we have Hashem more in our life than before. Like we could see there's so many doors that open. And this is how it happens, because remember, Hashem will never come in without being invited in. What a lesson we can learn. We have to imitate with Hashem. We have to learn to follow Hashem in his ways. So this is one way where, like, don't go and offer advice to somebody and don't give your opinion if it wasn't asked for. Because Hashem doesn't do that. Hashem doesn't go in and give his opinion or rescue people. He waits until a person cries out to him. He waits until a person opens the door for him. Welcome into my simcha, Hashem. Hashem, thank you for all these brachas. You're welcoming Hashem in. Or if you're going through a difficulty, Hashem, I am not capable of doing this. I am on my hands and knees. I have reached rock bottom. I cannot control myself or my urges or my whatever situations outside of myself, within myself, whatever I just can't control. Please help me. So then you're opening the door to Hashem. If you don't open the door and if you don't initiate contact, Hashem will suffer in silence. He'll long for you, and he will wait for you to call out and reach out to him. So let it be earlier, always earlier, and always in good times as well as not so good. But the more we reach out to him, the less we suffer, to be quite honest. The less the suffering pierces us, the less we feel like we're suffering, and things change. You'll see as you refine yourself more and more, you see automatically the people around you, the situations that were built up, they're actually a lot of the time diffuse, and there's Kedusha that can come in, and there's Hashem that comes in, and there's this beautiful Torah teaching that I learned in Miriam Yerushalmi's book, Reaching New Heights Through Kindness and Happiness, Reaching New Heights in Marriage. No, it's Reaching New Heights Through Kindness in Marriage. Sorry, that's her book. And she says that Hashem comes into the marriage when you're bringing peace, when you're doing your best to have shalom bayis, which means even at a cost of subjugating yourself. And this is one of the massive things, because when you subjugate yourself and you refuse to allow negative thoughts about your partner to come into your mind, you just refuse to go down that road. You refuse to go down the road of snappishness or unkindness interactions, If that's going to come from them, fine, that comes from them, but that's not going to come from you. And you do your best to subjugate yourself and step on the clip Sitra Achra within yourself, and Hashem will be so joyous and so happy. He'll come down, and you know what he's going to do? When you bring Hashem into your relationship, then the Shekhinah rests within you, and the fire, there's these holy fires. This whole the highest fire in creation is Hashem's Shekhinah, Hashem's fire, godly fire. When that godly fire comes down, it automatically, just organically burns up and consumes within it all the lower fires, right? The lower fires could be the fires of desire, the wrong desires. It could be the flames of anger and resentment. It could be the flames of negative character traits. So when you encourage Hashem to come in, how? By subjugating yourself in different areas so that you're not bringing Sitra Achra into the relationship and you're not bringing Sitra Achra into your body. So when you're instead subjugating yourself and your animal soul and your guf in this way, then Hashem is able to come down and refine you within yourself, refine your husband, your partner, refine, the people that you're in a relationship with, whatever the relationship is, like children or whatever. This is Hashem, and you ultimately want Hashem to come in because Hashem's holy fires will trump and automatically consume all the unholy fires. And so, how powerful is that? And this is like another Chassidus teaching from that we can see, from the Tanya that it's that Hashem brings great help from above when we do our part in suppressing down here below, even a small amount of Sitra Achra. And so this is what our sages meant when they said, if a man consecrates himself in a small measure here below, he is sanctified greatly from above. This is apart from the fact that when one sanctifies himself in permissible matters, he thereby fulfills the positive commandment of the Torah. Sanctify yourselves and be holy. Oh, I love this. I love this mitzvah so much. Oh my gosh, it's straight from the Torah. Shebechtav. And the Rebbe Rashab, I think, goes into so much about this mitzvah I think it's Kuntras Avoda, I think. And he explains and he goes into this. What a beautiful, beautiful piece of Torah. Oh my goodness, it's beyond. And I really encourage you to look into it as well. I'm inspired to again look at it as well because it really talks about and explains what we've talked about, but it really goes into depth and like straight from the Rebbe, he's saying that when it doesn't have to be evil, or it doesn't have to be a sin, or it doesn't have to be things that are obviously no-nos that we do, right? It's anything that is not Kedusha, not trained for Hashem. So even just going to the bathroom, or even just existing, or even just saying something, or eating something that's kosher, right? So any of this can cause us to bring the Sitra Achra within us and then separate ourselves from Hashem. Okay? Which, with kosher, the issue can be that you overindulge in food. With speech, it could be that you overindulge in speech and you can speak things that are not bringing Kedusha in this world, that are not trained on Hashem and that are not brachas to other people. So all of this, so the Rebbe goes on to explain how to sanctify, how this is the mitzvah. It's to sanctify yourself and be holy. It means even within all of the kosher and the permissible things that Hashem, that it's okay for a Jew to do, you should still be on your guard and you should still make a separation within yourself, that you keep yourself holy. You will not overindulge, And the more, this is again our goal. Doesn't mean that this is where we are or where we have to be immediately right now. This is where we are leading ourselves towards. We want to lead ourselves towards having more only moments to sanctify ourselves and be holy, just like Hashem empowered us with this mitzvah to do, straight from Torah Shebechtav. So by separating ourselves from indulging in permissible right? For too long. Hence, apart from the consolation previously offered, the being only that through turning away from evil by combating evil thoughts and desires, he affords Hashem a pleasure that tzaddikim cannot. His battle with the Sitra Achra also contains a positive quality in the category of doing good that is likewise not present in the divine service of tzaddikim. This positive quality is the fulfillment of the mitzvah, sanctifying yourselves, which applies only to Bein Onim, not to tzaddikim. For the intention of the commandment is that even one's personal, permissible, and mundane matters should not be attended to out of the desire of one's animal soul, but for the sake of Hashem. This directive cannot apply to tzaddikim who are unencumbered by the desires of the animal soul, as the Alter Rebbe will continue. The meaning of sanctifying yourselves is you shall make yourselves holy. That is to say, although in truth one is not holy and separated from the Sitra Achra, for the Sitra Achra of his animal soul is still, as at birth, it's at its full strength and might, in the left part of his heart, the seat of the animal soul and the evil inclination. The word Kedusha, holiness, means setting apart, i.e., separation from the unholy. The verse thus means one should sanctify himself even if he must make himself holy and separate from the Sitra Achra, for at his present level his heart still desires those things that derive from it. Yet even while at this level he subdues and masters his evil impulse and makes himself holy, separate from the Sitra Achra, then continues the verse. You will be holy. The words be holy, which in their simple sense voice a command, can be understood as conveying a promise. That is, that ultimately he will be truly holy and removed from the Sitra Achra. Through his being greatly sanctified from above, as quoted earlier from the Gemara, and through his being aided from above to expel the Sitra Achra from his heart, little by little, so that even in his heart he will no longer have any desire for anything originating in the realm of Sitra Achra. Woo! We finished this parak. We finished this chapter 27. What a powerful chapter, powerful Torah. Oh my goodness, how lucky we are. Thank you, Hashem, for whoever's listening, whoever's learning, that we have been given this revelation of how to work with our animal soul, with our goof, with our soul, to refine ourselves and to reach self-mastery, even within our emotions and even within situations that we cannot control, that are difficult. Hashem is so kind that we can actually have this lifeline. This is a lifeline. So right now, let's do our meditation. We'll do a quick little meditation. And then we'll sign off and be available after class for Farbrengen, for everyone who's on the Zoom recording. So let's either close your eyes or just relax them by gazing softly forward. You can do both. I often do both, alternating. Okay, so now breathe out. Always breathe out first. By breathing out, you're signaling to your body that there is no threat. You can completely relax. You're in a safe space. Allowing your breath to gain momentum. As it comes in, you're drawing more godliness into your lungs. Breathing out. Get into this holy rhythm. Our breath is actually referred to as the angels, the ruach, in Torah. And so breathing in this ruach will help to tame and make the blood pump well. And the blood is where the animal soul lies. It's mainly where it lies. The left ventricle of the heart, which we learned. So now let's imagine all of these holy, holy thoughts in our mind as big, big icebergs. And you can imagine a straw down from your brain connecting through your throat to your heart. And you can see in your mind's eye that all of this frozen, cold, supreme, awesome icebergs of ice, of Torah, are not actually able to penetrate through the straw to get to the heart. Not at all. It's not moving. It's not going anywhere. So what do? We have to crush up all of these icebergs, just like a slushy. We have to crush up the ice. Really, really give it a good crushing. And we do that through meditation, through using our minds in a meditative way to concentrate on godliness and visualize Torah concepts. So as we're doing this meditation, you can imagine that it's mushing and mushing and mushing the Torah in our minds, and slowly you can see it start to just organically just drip through. There's no need for more prompting. All you do is your part, and then it sinks in towards the heart, and you can see it slowly going, and eventually each little piece is coming to the godly soul, to the animal soul in the left ventricle of the heart. And you can see as it's melting away, it's like on a hot day, on a burning hot day, to have this beautiful, icy cold, refreshing, dip in the ocean or refreshing beverage. And you can feel the exactly what it does to the animal soul. It feels so refreshed and it feels so calm and so at peace and loving and just loving this experience. So now the animal soul is able to receive from the Torah. So now you can imagine that it's pumping and pumping the blood. It's getting this pure Torah-dic blood coming into your body and reconnecting your guf and reconnecting your animal soul to your godly soul, to Hashem's presence within you. And you can see that it's passing through each limb, all the toes and all the nails and all the different parts of your body, all the organs. It's just all the way flowing through, and it's really staying in many places, like the liver. It takes a bit of time to get all the blood in the liver, and all the other places in the body, just everywhere, and you can feel that it's all coming through you. You can imagine coming all the way back to the head, where the whole process starts again. But you can see even more, you're mushing this Torah concepts up, these icebergs of ice, and you can see them slowly trickling down through the straw into the animal soul. And you see this animal soul almost like waking up. It's so happy. This is beautiful. This is sensational. And you can feel it. You can see, put a face to that animal soul. It's the little you, the childhood you, the tantruming little child. Whether your tantrums were silent and keeping to yourself, or whether they were big and loud and noisy, whether they were, all about getting what you want, or whether it was about feeling accepted or loved. Whatever it was, whatever it is, just see that child. That's your animal soul. That could be the picture of your animal soul. And no, it's not evil, and no, it's not bad. It just needs to be parented, and it needs to be shown the way, and it needs gentle care. So now with all of this Torah coming into it, all of this like dirt and all of these like negative facial expressions and negativity, negative wants and desires, just everything is melting. And you can see that this diamond in the rough is getting such a beautiful clean, that now the holiness within her is shining through. The holiness of your animal soul is shining through. And it's enjoy to be at one with Hashem's Torah, and it's a joy to be working with the godly soul, to allow it to shine through. So you can see now that it's pumping into the blood all of this holiness, all of this desire to be united with Hashem, desire to be a superconductor for Hashem. And you can see it's pumping this Torah blood through, this clean, pure blood is pumping through all of your legs, all of your toes, all of your nails, all of your hair, all of your organs, just everything. It's going up your body, it's going up towards your head, it's going through your brain again, the whole process is starting again. You can feel it in your eyes and in your mouth and in your nose and your ears. Just everything is so full of Kedusha. This oneness with Hashem, this will to be at one with Hashem. And you can see that this and feel that this godliness is actually radiating through you as each cycle takes place. Each cycle of Torah getting mushed down to sink through to the animal soul and start that whole process again. Each cycle is reaching another part of you. Once all of your physical body is done, then you can feel it passing through the outside of your physical body and all of those godly spheres. And so now you can see that you are radiating a powerful godly light in this dark room, this dark world. And as you open your eyes and look in each direction, you see people who are close to you, people you love, people you may be having a difficult time with. And you see you are not affected by them at all. You are just sharing and expressing Hashem's presence through you. You're not an identity in yourself. You're not somebody who somebody else can influence. Because you're already influencing through Hashem's presence within you, getting radiated outwards. And so now all these people that you're having difficulties with in your everyday life, so now you're just seeing them completely receiving this Kedusha from you. From just looking at them, already there's a change. There's slow shifts, actually big shifts that are starting within them. You're looking at them with a Torah eye. You're looking at them with positive, Toradic thoughts, that they are a chelik elokam mamish, they're a piece of Hashem. You're looking at, and you can see that their eye is starting to light up, and you can see that you're smiling at them, and that your smile is contagious, and it's lighting their smile, and the feelings of holiness and goodness and happiness and joy is so contagious that it's, they're feeling it too. And then you can offer a hug. And if they want a hug, then you can feel that passing on as well, all of this Kedusha. And you can see how one person that you affect in this way can affect another and another and another and another. And there is no end to the godliness that you can bring in this world. Especially when you imagine what we've learned from this chapter, when you refrain. You can imagine a person in front of you who is saying mean things or acting in a mean way to you, and you imagine taking an intentional stance to suppress and to not talk back and to not go in a hole and hide yourself because you don't feel safe, and to not attack and explode because you're angry and you're frustrated. So imagine just this moment where you're doing that, how much power Hashem is sending you from up above, how much you've given Hashem so much joy that he can now, since you've made the initial contact, he can now stamp on the Sitra Achra from above. All the forces that are against Hashem, all the forces that are not holy, the mundane, the evil, etc., he can stomp on it. And now, please excuse me, as he stomps on it from above, you can see the effect that it has on those around you and within you. You have so much holiness. Hashem is sending you his knights of shining armor, his godly messengers to come and help you, this supreme awesome power to come and help you to continue to be strong and to continue to suppress and to continue to help you in whatever way you need help in your life. And you can see how also this effect is having on the other person. Slowly, slowly, with time, eventually you will see that their sitra achra melts away. You've already melted away sitra achra from the entire world. So there is less now. And so with that, as a dir b'tachtainim for Hashem within ourselves and sharing that out to the world, I'll welcome you back into your present life, into your body. And may Hashem help you to use your body, your guf, your animal soul, all for the divine purpose of fulfilling your mission in this world, to be a dir b'tachtainim for Hashem, to be a dir b'tachtainim in your relationships, to be the influence of godliness in your life. By just being kind and by just acting God like God, that you are not influenced by others, you are influencing for positive. And with that, thank you so much for joining us today. And B'ezrat Hashem, I look forward to seeing you next week.